So guys, I thought we'd have a quick chat today about taxes, and more so, why do I trade futures? So the purpose behind trading futures stems back to the topic I want to talk about, which is of course taxes. Now, when you trade futures, there's a split, a 60-40 split. So let's just say hypothetically, uh, for every $100 you make, $60 of it is taxed as ordinary income at whatever tax bracket you are currently in. The other 40% is then taxed at capital gains. Now, typically to get capital gains tax, you need to hold something for a year and a day, as particularly in the market. The uniqueness about the futures market is it doesn't matter if you hold it for a minute or for a month or for a year or for a decade, you still get, you still get the same tax structure benefit. So 60% of my income is considered ordinary income, and 40% of my income is considered capital gains. Now, when you make several $100,000, it makes a big difference, particularly when you've reached a higher tax bracket. You know, when you're in a 40 plus percentile tax bracket, it does make a substantial difference on what you end up paying the government. Now, the other piece of the puzzle is you can trade futures in an IRA directed account, a self-directed IRA account. And with that, you can move that money, those profits into that IRA, and the account is owned by your IRA. And this way it's tax deferred income. So you wouldn't touch that money, in fact, until you go to take it out later on in life. So I like the flexibility that futures offers me from a tax perspective. That, guys, once you've really built some wealth, once you've gotten out of debt, and by debt I mean your house is paid for, your car is paid for, whatever business ventures you have aren't carrying any debt, whatever real estate holdings you have aren't carrying any debt. Once you reach that point in your life, you've lost a lot of your tax benefits, meaning the deductions that you take on the interest, the deductions you take on your, on your debts. So once you lose that, the next step is to preserve as much of your income as possible by utilizing avenues that allow you to legally, take some tax benefits, if you want to call it that, or I don't want to call them tax cuts because that's not exactly what they are, but you have to use the tax strategies that are available to you to the best of your ability. So with my futures trading, I trade in my self-directed IRA, which is deferred because I'm not touching that money today. And then I also trade in my personal account, which is considered income, but 60% of it is taxed at my income bracket, and the other 40% is taxed at capital gain. So I do get a little tax break, for lack of a better term, especially on that other 40% of my annual earnings in the futures market. So some of you may not be well aware of this, and some of you may be. I just wanted to take a moment and really just have a chat about it. And particularly depending on where you are in your life, if, like I said, your other things you have and own are paid for, the next step here in strategizing your money is to keep as much of your money as possible. Now, listen, I'm all for paying my fair share, whatever I owe the state and the federal government, as far as income tax goes, I'll pay it. I'm a contributing member of society, and I'm certainly not looking for anything for nothing. But, if I can legally strategize to keep more of my money, that's pretty much what every wealthy person in the world does. I mean, they do things that give them the opportunity to keep more of what they earn. So with that in perspective, depending on where you are in life, regardless if you're trying to build that nest egg or you already have that nest egg, minimizing your tax exposure is always a important thing to keep at the forefront of really, moving forward, and building that wealth, and building that nesting, and building that ability to live, from a comfortable way of life. I mean, and that's really what it's all about. It's about when you get to the point that everything you have is paid for, and everything you own is paid for, and there's no, you're not fighting to struggle to make those monthly payments. The beauty becomes, all I have to do now is survive. And by survive, I mean cover the costs of living. And now keep in mind, the cost of living is always going up. So if we can creatively use our money that we've built to make us more money and then keep more of it, that is the ultimate goal. So I just, this was, we're coming into tax season. Of course, we wrapped up 2020. It's just something that was on the forefront of my mind, and I really want to just take a minute and share it with you guys. And with that, I hope you're having an awesome day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care, guys.